Welcome to Courtney on Health on malcolmpresents.com and other venues, which too numerous to mention. But anyway, welcome guys. Happy July 4th.
Happy July 4th.
Yep, we're taping on the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Would you call this taping?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is because we're digitally doing it.
Recording.
You're recording, it's taping, it's live to tape.
It's live to tape to be heard.
Do you think if we say taping to really young people, they're going to have any idea,
No.
like tape, like Scotch tape? What are you talking about?
Right.
Say recording to stream.
Right, we're streaming on the internet.
We're streaming, it's going to be streaming.
I still say, let's watch TV. And my wife says, no, it's not TV, it's apps.
Oh, right. It's
I'm watching it on TV. I don't know. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
Let's get into it so we can get cooking because that's what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry, even though it's
Courtney's
about 8:30 my time.
Courtney's in addition to everything else, she's a great cook. So if I say hi, Courtney and Malcolm, it's kind of redundant right now. But welcome to Courtney on Health, the Zoomcast podcast series about how to get through these COVID times, monkeypox time, crazy times, but food is very comforting, which is great. And now, Courtney gives us tips on nutrition and exercise. She's a registered dietitian with a Master of Science degree in nutrition and applied physiology. Courtney's an experienced nutritional and health consultant in the New York metro area and beyond into the universe, and will help guide you on a path to wellness and health. So, get cooking on the outdoor grill or use your grill pan inside or your Dutch oven and make some really good summer foods because we're in the summertime. And we look forward to gatherings, outdoor festivities, and good times with family and friends. So Courtney's going to give us a cooking demo today. And so I'm going to turn it over to Chef Courtney. Courtney, to cook something delicious and nutritious.
And that's very apropos for July 4th.
That's right.
Well, I'm not a chef by any means, but I can see my way through in the kitchen. I'm a decent I'm a pretty good home cook.
Home chef. You're a home chef.
Home chef, home cook. So, which is really all you really need. I mean, you don't need to be, and I guess that's why we sprinkle in these cooking sessions sometimes. You don't need to be, formally trained in order to get good grub on the table, especially this time of year, July 4th. People have a lot of barbecues. Summertime in general, people are feeding, usually have a lot of people, it's a lot of entertaining. So the whole art of feeding a lot of people is something good to learn. So that way you're, with your company rather than behind the stove, throughout the time. Now I will say, full disclosure, every time I entertain, I try to get a little bit better about spending more time with my friends and my family and less time in the kitchen, which of course requires you have to do what? It's got to be cooked in advance, which is sort of right? So which works. Sometimes the reality is, you can't do that. You've got to separate yourself and then get back in the kitchen. But I try every time to do that. It doesn't work all the time, but that's why this meal, I'm making tacos today, which one of the reasons why I love this, I'm actually making this for, big group family. And I love it because not only does it feed lots for a relatively low amount of money, so it's economical, but you can make it all in advance, which is fabulous. In fact, this is one of these dishes I actually think tastes better when you've made it a day or two, beforehand. You can even make it a week beforehand and then just stick it in your freezer. But so it really makes it a great, great thing for company. And you can make it at a cooler part of the day. It actually is beautiful here today. Beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It is beautiful in sunny Qua. So what do you got in the pot?
Okay, so in the pot, I'm gonna try and do this. This is, you can use any oil you have. You guys can see that.
Onions, okay.
And, but I have olive oil in here, extra virgin olive oil. But I've used canola oil. You can use avocado oil. Those tend to be my go-to sauteing oils. I get it. Extra virgin olive oil can be expensive. So I would say then maybe use the canola oil as an option. I know some folks don't like canola oil, and that's if that's your choice, then choose perhaps like avocado oil as an option if you prefer that. But you want a good oil with a decent smoke point, and I think we've spoken about that before, meaning that you want it to get nice and hot so that things cook evenly without that oil smoking up. And then it really imparts a really bad flavor if that oil starts smoking. So you want to make sure you just choose your oil wisely. But there's lots of oils that fall into there. And then chop up some onions. If you have time, onions like garlic. I think when we were talking about kitchen hacks, one of our previous segments, we talked about, how to sort of get a leg up in the kitchen to save some time. So in addition to chopping garlic ahead of time and then maybe throwing it in a little container in your freezer to store, you can do the same thing with chopped onions. So if you have a dish that requires, not a whole onion, chop up the rest of it, throw it in a bag or a container and stick it in your freezer, and then you're good to go. So there's lots of ways to sort of speed up this process, but that's all this is at this point, is just extra virgin olive oil. And then I'm sweating down or browning up the onions. You don't want to shortchange this process. You really want to get those onions nice and browned for that great flavor. So don't, take the time it needs. You also notice, you guys, and sorry if I'm going to be these waftings, smoke here. You don't want to keep the lid on. In this case, to brown those onions, you want to keep the lid off. By keeping the lid on, it's creating much more steam, and you don't get that great caramelization, that great browning that would occur. So keep that lid off. Don't shortchange this process, and just cook everything down until it gets nice and brown. The kitchen starts to smell really, really good, assuming you like the smell of garlic and onions.
Oh yeah. What's the approximate cooking time? Can you give an approximate time?
Yeah, for the onions or the whole shebang bang.
Well, the onions right now.
Oh, the onions, it should be, I think it should be a good, could be 5-10 minutes. I have in here about this was a pretty large onion. So it was a good size. I'm making 3 pounds of I'm making ground turkey as the base for my tacos, but you could use pork, you could use beef. I'm sure you could use some of the meat alternatives, the ones that are already ground up, whatever your choice is. But for that much meat or protein, you're going to want a really large onion. And then right here, I don't know if you guys can see this here, I have, because I go a little heavy in the garlic, typically, I've got about 5 cloves of garlic here that I'm going to chop up and put in. You want to separate out garlic from onions. These take a little bit longer, and Max, I know we've discussed this before, right?
The garlic
so the
is quicker. Longer. Yeah.
The garlic is really just in there for like a hot minute.
Right, it's a hot minute, literally.
So you'll smell it. And the second you really start to smell that garlic is when you want to start adding in your other ingredients. You don't want to, it's a sin to burn garlic, right? So.
It is, because garlic is so good.
That was the 11th commandment, right? Thou shalt not burn garlic.
Thou shalt not,
right.
Thou shalt not burn your garlic. It really does, sadly, it really does ruin the meal. And I'm not just being like an elitist, snobby foodie here. It really
yeah, right. No.
It's not a good flavor.
No, you don't want it. It's very
on that. So
delicate.
Do you guys eat tacos?
Yes, I love tacos. Are you making hard shell taco or soft shell?
Well, it's interesting you say that. My fan is a soft shell taco fan. They're fans of soft shell.
Me too.
They like flour. They used to like corn, but now they like flour, which is fine. We're gonna roll with it. My sister-in-law and her family, that's the other half of the crew that I'm making this for, they too are soft shell, but I would have happily, purchased hard shell tacos as well. I know hardcore folk who make their own hard shell. So they take the corn tortilla. They have a gizmo that, they basically fry them and then wrap them and let them cool. between you, me, and the woodwork, that's a little bit more time and bandwidth that I've got at this.
Yeah, me
particular
too.
moment.
Too lazy to make my own tacos.
Just
I can be,
interject,
not
just
only am I a
interjecting
home
one,
chef, I'm a lazy chef.
just interjecting one thought, guys. We're talking about a barbecue for probably the most typical American holiday of July 4th. And we're making tacos,
Right.
I know.
which is very Mexican.
I know. Well, listen, melting pot, right? So I'm all for it. And I do this because I barbecue a lot. I have no problem, womaning the grill. But like we said, although it's fun and people can hang around with a cocktail while you're grilling outside.
Cocktails.
This allows you to get it done ahead and then sit down and really just enjoy. But yeah, so, and then I haven't quite figured out how to record this show outside yet. Every time I think I try and do that, I got the birds and the sirens and everything just.
Yeah, all the outside noise comes in. It's
You have to get a directional microphone.
Oh, that's it.
That
So
only
I'm throwing
picks
in
up,
my garlic.
That only picks up what
Garlic.
you're talking to it directionally.
yeah, she's
And it
got
certainly
garlic.
takes out the other noise.
Garlic supersedes anything.
But no, the only thing I was going to say is you should have maybe your husband and another grill do your hot dogs and hamburgers on a bun.
For the other, oh yeah, all right.
Speaking about
You need
that,
a
I think
separate
even as
camera.
we're talking now, they're preparing for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Oh gosh.
How many hot dogs do Americans consume on July 4th?
How many?
No guessing here. 150 million.
Wow.
150 million hot dogs are consumed on July 4th. Enough hot dogs to stretch from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles.
Well, yeah,
No way.
But that's
Way.
that's only my family. What's the rest of
Wow.
it?
Wow.
That's a lot of dogs.
Wow, that is, and they're all saying the same thing. Oh my word. That is a huge number. Well,
Yeah.
we know what day is the hot dog day of the year, and that's today. And speaking of hot dogs, my dog's birthday is today. Sparkle,
Birthday, that's right.
Sparkles is 2. She's I put some eggs in her food this morning, and I'm making her a steak tonight
Wow.
Ooh,
because
fancy.
because all my dogs, my mom would say, I said, I don't know what to do for their birthday, and she goes, make them a steak. So
Are
steak.
you inviting her friends over?
No, she saw her friend, and she met a new friend today. There's a new dog on the block, Courtney.
Oh my gosh. I think
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
Was this the German Shepherd puppy?
It's a Shepherd Malamute, Alaskan Malamute mix.
So cute, right?
Yeah, beautiful dog, beautiful dog. So we have more dogs on this block, and I wonder how many hot dogs will be made today.
I know. Well, I bet you a lot of people are going to cook some hot dogs and hamburgers today.
Absolutely. The grills.
Today. So I'm just throwing in the ground turkey at this point. I already put in the garlic.
I saw the garlic.
I also threw in, just because I'm trying to clean out my fridge and reduce the waste. And I will say that this kind of a dish is very forgiving. I mean, if you've got celery in the fridge that you want to start, use up. I had literally a half of a yellow pepper.
Mm-hmm.
So I just chop that up and throw it in. As long as everything is evenly diced and around the same size, it works beautifully in a dish like this. So
Now everything you do has nutritional value, right? Nothing is bad.
is that including the margaritas that I will in all likelihood serve with these?
I guess he's talking just about the food itself.
Okay. So yeah. I mean, these will be. I mean, it's relatively lean ground turkey. It's not just turkey breast, because I find that using just the turkey breast in these,
it's not as good. You need more of a flavor for the dark meat.
Yeah, you need a little bit of the fat in there and the flavor. So at least in my opinion, if you feel strongly, you can go ahead and use the breast meat. But so this is a combination of the 85. Actually, it's all 85%. So it's pretty lean. So we just cook this down. And then at this point, you just want to wait for everything to get brown and cooked. You could wait. You could actually just throw everything else in. I've got my tomatoes, my diced tomatoes, and I'm going to tell you about my 2 secret ingredients that I'm going to throw in.
Ooh, I want to learn about that.
We want to learn about that. But in case I don't know if you guys can see this, based on this, you can see that I probably use a lot of cumin in this house, and I do.
Oh my
for all
Lord.
sorts of things.
I have a small version, but you got that's a lot of cumin. Yeah, cumin is used a lot in these things.
Yes. Now I have this size, and I think when we've done our shows on, reducing waste and using big box stores, this came from Costco. I use a lot of this cumin. So for me, this size works. But if you remember, we spoke about sort of shelf life of spices and herbs and things like that. So if you're going to buy this because it seems like a great idea, but you're using cumin once a year, this is not the best size for you. The best size would be this little bugger right here. That way it stays fresh, you use it, and you don't end up, missing out on the flavor, because it will lose its flavor over time. So
yeah, that's true.
I suppose I should use a measuring spoon, but as we said, this is a fly by the seat of the pants show, and I've been making this for a while, so I kind of know how to eyeball this. But generally, for this much meat, 3 pounds of meat, you're going to want at least 2 heaping tablespoons of each of the spices that I'm going to be throwing in here today.
Okay.
First up is cumin. It really doesn't matter, quite frankly, which order you put. I have, this is oregano. Now this is actually oregano harvested from my garden last year. So towards the end of the year, I snip it, hang it, dry it, and then I've got oregano usually for the whole year. So very rarely do I need to buy dried oregano, because I make my garden give me double duty. So just a tip for any gardeners out there.
That's great. That way you have it stored. Yeah, that's
really
fantastic.
Is. I wish we had sort of smell-o-vision, because this stuff smells
Must
so
smell
good.
great. Must smell really good. Wow, awesome.
We got that. Coriander, which if you're not familiar with that spice, it is the dried herb or the seeds of, and then dried and then ground, cilantro. So if you smell it, you can almost smell a little bit of that cilantro smell to it. Although I tell you, even for people who don't like cilantro, and I get it, some people love it, some people hate it, they're fine with coriander. It doesn't have exactly the same flavor. But you don't want to miss out on this one. It's a great spice to have on hand, particularly for a lot of the Latin cuisine, even Asian cuisine. The coriander is used quite a bit. I'm just going to stir that down and give that a whirl in there. You really want to, and most people know this, particularly with poultry, you make sure it's cooked to, at the very least, 165 degrees.
Right.
That's the point above which most of the potential microbes that might be living in there would be killed off.
That's the other thing, because this time of year also, because of the heat and you're outdoors and you have your food outside, you got to be careful, again, just to give people a heads up about food safety a little bit during this time of year. I know we did shows on it, but now is like the good time to kind of say, yeah, you need to watch out.
Absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up, Maxine. So, depending on the temperature, most people's kitchens are relatively constant. Some, I don't know, some people like a cooler, but you generally around 70 degrees or so. But outside is different. So the higher that temperature, the shorter the window of time you are going to really want food to be unrefrigerated or very, very hot. So remember that 40 to 140 range is sort of the danger zone for bacteria microbe development. So it will grow very rapidly at that temperature. So if you think about foods, and really any food, we've discussed this, somehow the mayonnaise thing got out there.
Yeah,
It's not
that's a
just
big thing.
mayonnaise food. It's pretty much anything. I will say protein foods will probably grow pretty, bacteria can grow in there pretty quickly. So in super hot weather, you want to keep food out for really only about an hour. And then under you know, something that's a little bit cooler, generally 2 hours is your rough estimate. You can do sternos. Some people do, if you're entertaining a lot, you can do sternos so that the food stays really hot. And then, or you can put trays of, I saw this neat thing, actually it was on Instagram, and it was somebody who froze, so it was aluminum pans, and they filled those with water, froze those, and then had things, and I've got my fruit over here, my red, my sort of my red, white, and blue theme of fruit over here.
Oh, I see. How nice. You got the berries and the strawberries.
Yeah, they
Cool.
rested the cool things on this frozen slab of ice, which helped keep things a little, so it buys you a little bit more time. So tricks like that aren't very expensive, you probably have some of these things hanging around your house, and as long as you have the ability to freeze something that big, it's a great tip to keep things on the cooler side. So
That's awesome.
yeah, clean hands. You know, I think most people, you know, get that they have to, you know, we should always be cleaning our hands on a regular basis, but particularly when you're dealing with food. We've heard this is how a lot of the contamination occurs. It's from humans, right? So you just got to be super careful. I mean, you don't need to wrap yourself up like a surgeon in the kitchen, but, you know, wash your hands anytime you're, you know, about to cook or, you know, serving food. So, all right, so next up in here, I like, and there's a variety of different brands. This happens to be the Good and Gather brand from Target. It's actually, I know it seems like a strange place to buy diced tomatoes.
Yeah.
But they're highly rated. They're wonderful. They're easy. It's a great pantry item. I keep a lot of diced tomatoes on hand in my house. They do have a fire roasted type, which I didn't have any today, but is wonderful because it adds that incredible smoky flavor to the tacos, which is really nice. So I'm just throwing all that in there. So my first secret ingredient before I throw in my chili powder, great pantry. This is the Rio Luna brand, but they are diced green chilies. They are a great thing. I wait for these to go on sale. I buy a bunch because they can stay in your pantry, you know, for a good long time. They are a wonderful sort of, what can I throw in my, particularly like, you know, Latin-based, Mexican-based meals to give it a little bit more oomph, like that special sauce, right? This is fabulous. Just make sure, I've accidentally bought, unless you've got a real palate for crazy spicy food, make sure you watch and get the mild or the moderate or the medium. The hot one.
Oh, a little much. Oh, yeah.
No joke.
Stay away from ghost peppers. That's what I got to tell you.
Oh, you're kidding.
Have you ever tasted a ghost pepper?
Nope, but I've heard.
Don't. No, I'm serious. My son and I, way back down in the village, and you know, we were saying, oh, I bet you can't give us a pepper. We can, you know, we can deal with it all. And apparently they gave us something that had ghost pepper in it. Oh no. And I thought, and my son wasn't even that, you know, he might have been 10 or something. We were screaming, running in the kitchen. We went back to their kitchen to get milk. We told them, give us milk now. You know, I was like, I need milk now. It was, I don't know, they have this show now for a while where the guy brings guests on and he gives them different hot sauces and different levels, and to see how far they can go without, you know, completely
having a heart attack.
Seriously, I don't know. It's actually on. It's a show that streams on, I don't know which streaming company, but I've heard about it. I've seen some segments. I can't imagine that, you know.
Well, my additive to most of my foods is sriracha. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
That
I've had sriracha is. They said that the factory in California is having some issues because of the drought, and there might be a a low supply of sriracha, so you better
I
better
get my
get
hot
some,
sauce.
you better
Yeah.
get some extra sriracha now.
Yeah,
Right.
and anything that has rice, I put that on there.
Rice.
Rice,
Okay.
brown rice
Right?
is
Oh,
Oh, brown
um,
rice and sriracha. I see. Okay.
because
I,
it,
yeah, I
is it-
like hot sauce too. So by the way, I just threw in about 2 tablespoons of chili powder.
Are you going to
Um,
put this recipe online?
Sure.
I think
It's,
it'd be a good idea.
yeah, why not?
Sounds
Like,
delicious.
yeah, it's good stuff. And then, I mean, you can really serve it. There's no wrong way to serve it. So I'm just going to
Right.
cook all this down. Everything's in there except for my last. And so it was my second secret ingredient. I said I
Oh.
had 2. And you guys, I think, have heard me talk about this before. I know it seems
Then
like an
apple cider vinegar.
apple cider vinegar.
Mhm.
And I will tell you what's interesting is over the last, maybe couple of years, I get it from Costco because I go through a lot of it. And their apple cider vinegar is great and the price is right. But I'm finding it more, Bragg's is a great brand. I'm seeing it more on sale now, which is
Right.
great. It's like many things, like the more demand, right? So you'll be able to find it in regular grocery stores and maybe just wait to see if it goes on sale and get yourself, it's very shelf stable. So buy your bottles and stick it in, just a cool, dry area. And it'll stay there for a good long time, like years. So
Right.
it's the kind of thing you can stock up on and not worry.
Wow.
But I'm going to
See,
throw
I
in.
wouldn't have done that. And you know what I use a lot in Asian cooking? I use a lot of rice wine vinegar and
Yeah.
sesame oil and stuff when I, do that. And yeah, putting some hot sauce and sriracha, Malcolm.
Absolutely.
Every time I see sriracha, I think of you. Every time I see ghost peppers, I cry and I think of what happened to us. It's like, oh man, just stay far, far away from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this
But-
is just going to cook down. Like I said, if you're really, if you're a new chef, you're somebody, a new home cook, and you're a little concerned about, is it cooked all the way through? You can, I think every kitchen should have. So if you guys out there know anybody who's either moving out for the first time, an apartment, a thermometer, right? An insert thermometer so that they can check the temperature. I mean, it is the #1 thing in terms of food safety that's really going to help guide you because you can't always tell by looking at stuff. Color doesn't drive, whether it's cooked to a safe temperature or not. So if you're uncomfortable about, okay, has this been cooking long enough? Is it done? Put the thermometer in and wait for that. In this case, because again, this is poultry, wait for that 165. And then and even aside from food safety, you want these flavors to all really meld and kind of work all together. So this is the second phase that you don't want to necessarily fast forward through.
how long does that take to complete?
I'm going to leave this for probably about maybe another 20 minutes to a half hour to really kind of, now lid goes on at this point because everything's in there. And I'm going to do about a half hour and then I'll off the heat, wait for it to cool a little bit. And then I'm not serving this until a couple of days from now, but I'm going to freeze it. And I'm going to I have the tortilla. I'm going to have chopped up romaine lettuce or any nice crunchy lettuce, but you can really use anything you want. Some people like slaw in their tacos. So like cabbage, shredded cabbage, tomatoes, cheese. You can either use sour cream or if you're trying to lighten things up a little bit, I find using whole milk yogurt to be a fine swap. I would usually have yogurt in my house. I don't always have sour cream in my house. And then of course, sriracha, nice hot sauce, whatever brand you like. And then let people, it's very communal. You guys know foods love, like bringing people together. It's a nice way. And again, the work's been done on the front side. You can sit and enjoy your company and have your cerveza, your beer, your margarita, or water, whatever your choice is.
Right. Sounds good. Sounds delicious. You can't go wrong with some good tacos and fun people and throw some beer, tacos and beer. So throw some a cocktail, a summer cocktail that Courtney has those too.
I don't know about nutritionally about the margarita, but mentally it's good.
Yeah, that's true. We
I'm
can't.
with you, Malcolm.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
something.
guys,
All right. Well, you done,
now
Malcolm?
that you stoked our appetite,
Here's my flag. There it is, my red
There's
wine. Enjoy.
got red
Have a
wine.
wonderful 4th of July.
Enjoy, be safe, enjoy food, enjoy company. Just practice, safe procedure with the
Yes.
still COVID running around. And but try to have a good time because God knows we are in one crazy world.
and
So,
if you're drinking a lot, don't drive.
right,
Absolutely. That's right.
right.
Stay put.
Stay put.
It's
put.
crazy out there.
Yep. So anyway, thanks for joining us for Courtney on Health. To get more info, follow Courtney on her Facebook page, which is Courtney on Health, on Instagram at CLG Wellness, and visit her website, CourtneyGravities.com. For more shows, go to MalcolmPresents.com and theManyShadesOfGreen.com. This is Courtney on Health, which is smart, sound nutrition, strong, safe fitness, and we'll catch you again next time. Have a good holiday.
Have a great 4th,
Right.
and we'll see you next week
See you
Right.
next
on
week.
MalcolmPresents.com. Bye-bye.
Bye.